All right, Nick, let's talk about the Florida Gators again. Florida coming out for 2025, a last minute get for the Gators being able to flip a big time player for this team. I think this is a really interesting move here by Florida. Everyone's going to be excited about this one. But before we get into this, I'm Andrew, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, Nick, as I said, a flip from across the pond. This is a really interesting move for the Gators. Let's get on into the article and we can talk more about it on the other side. This is from at Hayes Fawcett on X, one of the greatest high school recruit guys as far as transfers, everything you need to know about your college team and who they're getting. Check him out on X. But nonetheless, it says class of 2025 cornerback Onis Konanbanny has flipped his commitment from Tennessee to Florida. He tells me at On 3 Recruits. The 6'1", 180-pound corner from the London, UK, has been committed to the Vols since August. He says, "Snowfall to the swamp, go Gators." I think this is a really interesting one and a big flip for Florida to snag a guy from the Vols. I'm curious what your thoughts are on this one, Nick. But before we get to you, Florida fans, in the comments section below, is this the most interesting, recruit you've gotten as far as a guy from the United Kingdom coming over? Can you think of anyone else that you would say has a little bit more unique place of origin for a recruit coming over this team? Let us know some of those answers in the comment section below. But nonetheless, Nick, what do you think about this latest flip by the Gators?
Well, look, Conan is obviously a solid prospect and a great job by the Gators flipping him into their program. So that's obviously, if you take that by itself and say, hey, great job, good move, right? And obviously, anytime you can get better players on your roster, you take it. But I think the real message here is what Billy Napier is doing going up against SEC rivals that are considered at a higher level than Florida, at least by perception, right? Tennessee was a team that made the college football playoff last year. Tennessee's a team that, for the better part of the last 2, 3 years, a lot of people have viewed as one of the top 8, 10, 12 programs in all of college football consistently. And yet, what we're seeing, Florida is beating them on the recruiting game and getting flips like this from not a local kid, obviously. It's not like this kid grew up in Gainesville or something like that, and he was committed to Tennessee and he decided to come home at the last second. So this is a strength of Billy Napier's recruiting pitch and his staff's recruiting pitch. And I think that will lead to long-term success. And we talk about it all the time. NIL dollars matter, transfer portal matters. We all understand that. But long-term sustained success in college football is predicated on recruiting and development. It still is. Now, look, in the reality, you can and should use the transfer portal to address short-term needs through the offseason. You're really weak at wide receiver, for example, and you're trying to contend, go out and get a couple big name wide receivers through the transfer portal. Don't wait to recruit and develop, right? If you're trying to contend, kind of like NFL free agency. But recruiting, pipeline development, getting quality players first locally, then regionally, then nationally, and then I guess globally in this case is what great programs do. That's what Alabama did under Saban. It's what Kirby Smart is doing and has done under Georgia. And if you look at when programs fall off, you look at Texas's decline, it was when they failed to recruit well. And you have to do it consistently year in and year out. You can't have one good year, right? Jimbo Fisher at A&M had one good year, it didn't work out for him, right? You have to do it consistently year in and year out, and then you slowly build a deep, solid team, and then you become a top contender. And look, Florida fans, you know this. It's what Urban Meyer did and brought you guys to winning 2 national titles in, I think, a 4-year period, right? 3-year period. They're really good, obviously, under that Tim Tebow era. So this is what you've seen before, and I think that's what Napier is trying to recreate. It's hard to tell if it'll be as good as was Meyer's team. Probably not, because those were all-time stuff. But the reality is what Billy Napier has done has been effective in this department. And as much as some people are criticizing in-game management or some other situations when it comes to Napier, the most important thing to being a head coach or anything when it comes to being a leader of a football team is getting the best players. And right now, Napier is doing a great job in that department.
Yeah, Nick, and I think, you look at this and see what's going on. A recent hire, Will Harris, who joined the team back in 2024, secondary coach, the main reason why they were able to get the flip. So you see some of these late moves that Napier has been putting in are starting to pay off. And I think this just goes to show this is a Florida team. They're building something special. They have an extremely strong DB class coming in. We got a 5-star in Ben Hanks Jr. then 2 4-star safeties as well, and Hilton Stubbs and Lagonza Hayward now paired along with this. Florida's getting serious about the back end of that defense, really making themselves a formidable force with all of this talent they're trying to bring in the secondary. I think some really special things are going on in Florida on the defense side of the ball. We know with DJ Lagway, the offensive is covered. They're really dynamic, really talented. We got to see at the end of the season what this team was actually capable of. They say, hey, let's go out, let's beef up the defense. We know in today's college football, you got to stop the pass, got to have great corners. So what do we go out? We get a slew of those guys as well. Latest flip shows they're not done addressing it. They're going to do everything they can up to the last minute to keep bringing in great talent to keep this team going forward. I like it. It shows a sign of the momentum doesn't stop. Just because they get the big win at the end of the year, they're not going to rest on their laurels. Billy Napier and this squad, they're going to go out and keep the momentum going. Keep flipping, guys. Keep getting these signings and keep going strong into the beginning of next year. So hopefully this time they start fast and end strong as well, and not just in the season strong. A new era is going on in Florida.